Hi everyone. Just wanted to come in and share a story with you that I've not shared in this group before. I'll try and make it quick. But it's a really important, pivotal story that really started this journey for me, and it's why I created Awaken Your Voice. It's why I talk about the things I talk about. So I actually lost my voice. So to explain that, as many of you know, I've been a singer and performer my whole life. So voice was everything to me. Mastering the voice, understanding the voice on all levels, and and just really trying to be the best expressed I could be as a performing artist. So that when I started to actually lose my voice, it was really rocked my world. But the reason why that happened, which I've not really shared here before, is because I went through a period in my life where I suffered like a few big traumas. Like my mother, beautiful mother, passed away, and that really kind of rocked my world and really shook me at my core. I know that doesn't necessarily happen to everyone, but it did to me because I was very close with my mother. And I realized that whilst I was working, really hard to nurture myself, to do all the right things to get through, losing a parent, losing a loved one, losing an anchor of your family, losing somebody who was more than a mother, but a beautiful friend to me as well in so many ways. I realized that all the work that I was doing to help me move past it, getting through, the shock, and then all of those stages of grief that are widely spoken about. I thought I'd had it worked out, right? But shortly after Mum passed, I started to kind of lose my mojo a little bit for performing. I stopped kind of putting myself out there. I stopped auditioning. I felt, I just felt down. I felt sort of flat. I felt sort of detached, from life. And I was kind of just walking through life going, how do I process this? And what does this mean? And of course, I did what I do very well, was throw myself into my other work, which was, coaching and teaching, and, convince myself that this was the right thing to do at this time, and really throw myself into it and become the best teacher I can be. And I did, I spent many years just really focusing on that. And it's great because I am a very good voice teacher, having learned so much about it, and experienced so much on the stage too. So, but I wasn't happy. I realized that there was something really missing from my life, and I couldn't quite put my finger on it. And I thought about everything. I thought, how about maybe a huge career change? Like maybe I'll go back into business, go back into marketing, or, I really explored those things. Like I was literally applying for jobs and things like that. And, unsurprisingly, I didn't get some of those jobs because it just wasn't my path. I was trying to work it out. And for many years, I was saying to everyone around me, there's something bigger I've got to be doing, and I can't figure it out. But it's a bit more than just helping people come in and have a singing lesson. Like there's something bigger, and I couldn't put my finger on it. And then it wasn't until other things started to, not go well in my life. My relationship was not doing well, and I just really started to hit rock bottom. And I heard this voice, and this voice, at one of my darkest moments, just became completely audible in my head, and it said, Danielle, it's time to take responsibility of your own life. And in that moment, I was quite emotional, and then it forced me to really just stop. It was so audible, I was frozen for a moment at how profoundly these words actually even just hit my heart. And I remember distinctly waking up the next day and just going about my business of taking responsibility of my own life. realizing that every single thing that I am going through is because of me. Every single thing I'm experiencing in life is all a culmination of my choices that I've made in my life. And that includes how the grief that I held on to of my mother's death, because I couldn't let go of the grief. It was stored inside of me. And what I realized after doing much soul searching and doing the work to understand why my voice had frozen, like why there was something kind of stuck in my throat when I sang. And I mean, I still sang pretty well. Maybe most people would never notice, but I could feel it, you know, I just wasn't myself. Where my voice used to soar really freely, it just didn't soar as freely anymore, you know. And then through my soul searching, I realized that I had stuffed the grief down in my body so deeply that I didn't want to feel it. I didn't want to feel the real feelings that I'd buried. And I came to learn that we store all these emotions deep in our body, and they don't go away until you deal with them. And I went about my business dealing with it in different ways, you know, with different healing modalities and you know, various things. And it was a most profound soul searching time. And when I really, really, really hit that spot one day, I remember I was deep in a process, and I touched that part of my body that just uncontrollably cried, and I just let it all out. And I cried. I kind of cried like a baby or like a little girl, and it's like I just lifted the lid and it just came pouring out. And what my ego self was always trying to do was put a lid on that grief, because it was important that I just got on with things, you know, that I didn't keep moping around, or I just, you know, get back into things. And you know, I think I also had this thing about being strong, you know, like I didn't like people to see me in my weakness. And maybe, I think subconsciously I was believing, well, you know, if people ask me how are you doing, I'll just say I'm good. You know, I'm pulling myself together. It's great, you know. And all of these patterns were stopping me from being able to sing freely again. It kept a big, massive lump in my throat and tension in my body, in my heart, in my gut. And this stifled my voice. Through this soul searching, another wonderful thing happened. I started to realize that, you know what? These are my patterns. This is not just about the grief that I'm unleashing, about this big traumatic incident in my life, but I'm starting to see that this is my pattern. I try to keep things together. I don't allow myself to be seen vulnerably, weakly, you know, and I believe that cultural thing, oh, you just got to get on with it, you'll be right. All of those things. Like, why wasn't I okay? It's like it wasn't okay that I wasn't okay, you know, and so society tells us these things too. I started to realize so many things about why I'd lost my voice in a way, and I started to realize that I actually don't always have a voice. You know, in my relationships, I don't allow that vulnerability through. I don't allow the openness through. I don't actually allow my opinion sometimes to be heard and things like that. And, you know, like I keep my mouth shut in difficult situations, and I started to see and unravel a whole lot of stuff within me that I had absolutely no awareness of, because it was my normal. That's how I'd always shown up, and I thought I was being strong and, you know, brave and all those sorts of things. It was just my structure. It's just how my personality moved through life, dealt with life. And these things, what I learned is that these structures that we create don't always serve us. And if you're finding that you're in this position too, where you're you're finding that there are structures or behaviors and patterns in your life, or maybe you're holding on to some emotions too, of some sort, and they're stopping you from living your best, most fully expressed life, then that's why I'm sharing this story, because I want you to be able to recognize that within you. I went through the difficult process of really finding my voice, finding who I am, and being completely brave and really owning my voice, owning me, owning who I am, owning my yes, owning my no longer being afraid to speak up for myself, no longer worrying about other people's judgments and opinions and thoughts of me, bravely having the difficult conversations when I need to, and bravely just accepting the results of those sometimes when they go well, and sometimes when they don't, because people aren't often really ready to hear what you have to say, but trying to do it in the best way I can, from a place of this growth and this maturity, or this empowerment and this knowledge that I have now of I can no longer be who I was. And that is the big thing, that I was living life being somebody who I'm not truly, who is not truly who I am, and I wonder if this is you too, if you experience this, that we're showing up in a way where we're stuffing down our feelings, we're not allowing people to see who we really are, we're getting on with life because that's what life has told us, or that's because our structure of our personality is pushing us towards all the time. And I'm telling you, when I really unraveled all of that and came home to find out who I really am, my life has never been the same. It is the most freeing, liberating, wonderful way to live, to truly touch the truest heart and soul of yourself and not be afraid to show that into the world anymore. And that's why I'm here sharing these videos, sharing this message. My voice came back as soon as I released all of this stuff, and particularly that moment of when that grief really unleashed. Sorry about the noise. When that moment really unleashed within me, my voice came back. And I remember the practitioner I was working with at the time, she said she could see that my neck turning really red when I really released all that grief that had stored up for so many years. It's like all of the energy had rushed back up into my throat. It was incredible, and I just got my voice back, and I realized, wow, this is incredible. I now have a way of teaching voice, that's beyond vocal technique, and singing lessons. It's about teaching the fullest expression of ourselves, finding out what holds us back and letting it go, if you choose to. I wanted to. I heard that voice that said, take responsibility of your life, and I wanted that. I wanted to move out of the state I was in. And that's the choice that we have to make. You don't have to make that choice, or you can. And my choice has been that since that day. I can't remember, I think it might have been about 6 or 7 years ago now, and every day my choice is moving in that direction, and I'm learning more and I'm growing more all the time, and moving through different stages of new stuff that comes my way, and when it shows up, I'm better able to handle it or deal with it. But more importantly, I know who I am, and I'm coming from a place of truly still working out that too, because as new challenges present themselves, it shows me even more. But that's the whole journey of life. I know that this will be happening till my time comes, and that's okay. I think that's why we're here, to just evolve and grow into the truest version and voice of ourselves. So the beautiful thing is that many of my singers, I started to realize that we don't have to, I could help them open up their voice in a whole new way just by releasing some stuff that they were holding on to. And it's been just absolutely wonderful for my singing clients, but also my personal clients who are just dealing with things, you know, in their personal life or in their professional life. And it really, you know, this is for you if you're on the stage or off the stage. But that's just my story. I came from somebody who was on the stage and found my journey, you know, through that way. So whatever you're going through, there is a way out. There's a way to come home to yourself and to really stand in your power and in your body and in your heart and in your power center and your gut and your truth and who you are, and show up as this person in your life in any situation. And that is what I'm passionate about. I lost my voice. I found my true voice through that journey, and I'm here to try to help you find your true voice too. I hope that's been helpful.